Shalom. Back again for that part two. But honestly, I was thinking, and before I do that part two, I think it's imperative. And I'm not talking to you folk, you've been in the Lord for years. You probably know, you know where I was going with it. But I want to stop for a minute because I don't want somebody who's not really into the Bible like that, or that may have heard this, to be all vexed and tore up when you hear terms like lust of the flesh, the pride of life, or the lust of the eyes, rather, because they're not talking about what you may think. And I'm not going to be able to deal with the lust of the eyes, and that has nothing to do with what you're thinking. It's really that's the implication of the soul, and then you have the pride of life, and that's going to be dealing with the implication of us being our own gods, or us exalting ourselves above God, or being like God. But I'll get into those separate. So what I'm going to do is, because these little bites can only be 3 minutes, I'm going to address each one, and then I'll bring it back home to the whole overarching meaning and the real meaning, or the real implications that Satan is trying to do when he comes at us, and what he's really trying to make go down using Genesis chapter 3. So let me jump right into the lust of the flesh. First of all, like I say, don't be beat down when you think of the lust of the flesh, because it's not necessarily talking about like sex. That's what you would think naturally, sex. Or Jesus said, if you look at a woman, or for that matter, and if you look at a woman with lust, you done committed adultery. First of all, God, he put it in us, male and female, to be attracted to the opposite sex. And for this matter, nowadays, you got people attracted to the same sex, so y'all can be in that boat as well. But what I'm saying is, lust, it's not lust to be moved in your body when you see an attractive female, or if some of the clothes that these women are wearing. Please, man, it's like they're more attractive with the clothes than they were if they were butt naked, because the way it hides all the cellulite and shapes their body. They got tights that literally goes, and I don't want to be vulgar, but they got tights now. You go to the gym and work out, or just go to Quick Trip, they got tights now that literally goes into the cracks of their behind. And like, man, it's crazy. And so that's more enticing than if the woman was naked. And so the Bible that's not lust though. There's a thin line. It's not a thin line. It's like a thin line between what lust is and what a God-given fleshly desire he has given us. And so don't be beat down like, man, this Christian thing, the lust. You telling me, Mike, you don't look at a woman? No, that's not what it's talking about. Especially when it's talking about the lust of the flesh. The lust of the flesh, think of all the terms in a spiritual sense. However, lust in and of itself, or whatever, is like a byproduct of the lust of the flesh. But the lust of the flesh is dealing with this. Let's hit it up. And I probably ain't gonna be able to post this on Instagram because I'm already past 3 minutes. And so let's see here. Anyway, take Esau. Take Esau. Remember Esau, when he sold his birthright. What did Esau do? He came in from the field. He's talking about, he's seen his brother cooking some bread and pottage of lentils. And he thought to himself, man, I'm about to die. And honestly, he probably may have been out of food maybe 2 days or maybe 3 days. He wasn't about to die. But all his flesh knew was self-gratification right there. He didn't care about, he couldn't see past anything. The flesh can't see past its own self-gratification. So he sold his birthright for some food, when he could have went and made some food. He just would have had the suffering, the hunger pains for a little bit while, maybe an hour or two, while he made his own food, or had one of the servants make some food. But he had to be gratified right there. And so what you see that the lust of the flesh is the statement like, do what thou wilt. It does not want to be subject to anything. It wants what it wants when it wants it. It doesn't care of the consequences or who it affects. It puts itself above God. It's the gratification. And it puts itself above the prescribed guidelines of gratification that God's given us. That's how far the lust of the flesh exalts itself. It cannot be tamed. Matter of fact, it really does not desire anything with God. It's really at war with God. So you can see how then, if you're talking about like sex, how the lust of the flesh could be, that could be a byproduct of the lust of the flesh, in the sense that, you know what I mean? How many men have sold their birthright? Check it out. And I sympathize with you fellas. Like, you go to Quick Trip, You in the Lord. You've been without food, if you will, or sex for 2-3 months, 2-3 years, hypothetically speaking, on the parallel with Esau. You know what I'm saying? You about to die. You can't take it no more. You're telling yourself, you know what I mean? And you're seeing all these women advertising their bread and their pottage of lentils. And you finally like saying, man, hey, I can't take it. What good is a marriage birthright, so to speak, if, you know what I mean? And so you sell your marriage birthright and ask that woman for some of her bread and her pottage and her lentils. I get it. You see what I'm saying? So you can see how, I guess you could say lust. It could be sex or whatever. Could be a part of the lust of the flesh as a byproduct. But the in and of itself, the lust of the flesh is a system. The lust of the flesh is a spiritual implication. You know, and the flesh actually has the back door to the soul. In other words, if I can get to if I do certain things that we do, and since we're talking about sex, we'll talk about that. But like I say, that's not the implication of the lust of the flesh. But you take an act like that. That act is, for the Christian, that act is inadvertently going to affect your soul. And see, the flesh is linked to the back door of the soul. It has access to the back door of the soul. And dig this, the soul has access to the back door of the spirit man. And so what Satan tries to do is he usually can get to our flesh. And if he can get to our flesh, he can get to our soul. He can harden our soul. He can damage our soul. And if the soul lays in the middle, if it's damaged or hardened, guess what it does? It unhinges our fellowship with God. And that's his end goal, to separate us from God. So he's trying to get at the spirit, man, or our relationship with God. And he usually comes in through the back door. He usually comes in through the flesh. That's the easiest way. And then he can access our soul. Because this battle is about the souls of men. You see what I mean? Because that soul has access to the back door of the spirit, or your spirituality, or your relationship with God, so to speak. And so that's what he wants to, that's his end goal. But so in closing, I don't want to be on here too long. I'm just going to do a quick little part 2, part 3 on the pride of life and the lust of the eyes, because like I just kind of felt like people might be thinking like lust and this and that, but lust ain't that. It's a God-given lust. Since we're on the subject, I was just feeling like people may be kind of disturbed about the lust of the eye or the lust of the flesh, and they thinking about, I be seeing fine women and I feel some way. That's God-given. Like I was alluding to, it's the illicit context that Satan comes in. He says, do it before. He says, have sex before marriage, or he says, or when Jesus talk about, if you look on a woman to lust, you've committed adultery with her in your heart or whatever. You already committed adultery, but that's not you feeling some way or feeling tingly when you're around a woman. It's in your heart. You would take that hot pottage and just you risk everything to get it. Like you literally want it. You want to have sex with her if you could. That's when you have entered into the realm of lust. But feeling some type of way around attractive women, or for the ladies or around attractive men, that's God-given. It's just, don't let it become vile or perverted. You have to keep it in context. You cannot become a slave to your flesh, or you cross over into the realm of the lust of the flesh. But the lust of the flesh deals with various things. It's just basically the unbridled, it's basically this flesh being untamed. It is not subject to the guidelines of God and its gratification. It will gratify itself at all means and at all costs. It's a beast. And it's the physical element that's at war with God. Let's put it like that. I hope that kind of helps. And then, like I say, I'll do the part 3 on those other things. And then we'll get back into the word of God, into the text, so we can really break this down. Selah on that, man. It's 2 a.m, by the way, so bear with me.